we're in the midst of this saga of the Oscar slap, and everyone's criticizing Will Smith. Now, last year, Will Smith released his memoir called Will. I never read it, but I heard there's a lot of things that he kind of divulges and people don't know about him. Now, one thing that I thought, and I always criticized him for, was after I watched this movie for the first time, I thought, Will Smith, you're better than this. You're better than the blockbuster. Like, you can act. You're an actor. Like, wow, you got real skills. But you just, you just went the easy way, and you did Independence Day and Men in Black, and, you just cashed in, which, again, I can't hate him for. But I just was like, wow, this guy could really act. Not knowing, last year, he actually divulged, I'm going to play the clip, that after this movie, which he attempted to do method acting, he never wanted to get into method acting again. So I'm going to play the clip about it, and I want to get your thoughts on this, James. I wonder, I actually wonder if you think Will Smith is going to be a bit overblown here. But let me play this clip. He was interviewed by Angela. Is it Angela Vi? I think so. YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the description as well. But have a listen to Will Smith talking about his experience making this movie and his takeaway.
So this is one of the things, and I've never talked about this, right? See, I've never talked about this, and it may take too long. We may have to do another conversation, but I'll try to talk about it briefly. So method acting, right? So I did method acting on 6 Degrees of Separation. And essentially method acting is when you submerge yourself for extended periods of time, confining yourself only to the thoughts of the character. So at a stretch, when I was doing 6 Degrees of Separation, I took 9 days without breaking character. So you eat what the character eats, you teach yourself to like the kinds of people the character likes, the kind of clothes the character likes, and you train your mind through blocking out Will and only living as the character, right? And it's what Jim Carrey talks about a lot. When you do that, you realize that Will Smith is a character just like the character is a character, right? Wow. It's made up ideas that you say are you, right? Yeah. What you realize is that what you think is you, that's so permanent, your political beliefs, who you love, how you react when people disrespect you, you think all of those things are you. When you break that perception and you go so far into another character, and then it's time to come out and you can't find your old beliefs, they're gone. You realize that your ego, your personality is a construct, just like the character is a construct, right? And that's what happened with Jim Carrey when he realized Jim Carrey's a fucking character too. And I had a little bit of that experience. I was like, oh shit, Will Smith is a character that if you can totally put on another psychology, ooh, right? And then when you come out, you can't find your old psychology. Mm-hmm. It's like on 6 Degrees of Separation, I fell in love with Stockard Channing. I was cracking up. I was like, what in the hell is wrong with me? Yeah. I transformed my mind so much, I couldn't shake the character's beliefs.
Wow.
Right? A part of it became me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I realized, when you see actors go on movie sets and fall in love and they have this whirlwind experience, mm-hmm, you can't look in somebody's eyes over and over and over doing scenes saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, I don't want to be with anyone else, you complete me. You're programming your mind and you get stuck into those beliefs. And as soon as the thoughts are locked, the emotions follow. Thoughts, emotions, actions, right? So that's the pattern, right? So I don't do method acting anymore, because you absolutely can totally, completely, and thoroughly lose everything that you think is you.
All I'm thinking while he's talking is, this is why people hate actors.
Yeah. Yeah, and hey, I got actor friends. I've had actor friends telling me this shit.
Yeah.
And I can understand it. I can understand it, but because I don't, live that life, I'm not an actor, it sounds kind of toffee nose. It sounds kind of like, really, dude, really? But, so going back to what I was saying before, I was, when I watched this movie originally, I was upset with Will Smith. Like, you could have done better with your career. You could have picked more tour movies. You could have been, and then he just decided, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I was getting lost in the character. Fair enough. Hey, fair enough, do you? And, after this, he became a mega star, blah, blah, blah. Did a lot of good movies, did a lot of shit movies as other actors. So, more recently...
I will give him credit, and he brings up Jim Carrey there. Man on the Moon is a great movie. I tried to watch that documentary that came on Netflix a few years ago about Jim Carrey becoming Andy Kaufman for Man on the Moon. I got about 10 minutes into it before I was like, if I ever want to enjoy another Jim Carrey movie again, I need to stop watching this now because he's just pissing me off.
In the black newspaper, the theater page was opposite the want ad page. Among his 42 films are No Way Out, 1950, Cry the Beloved Country, 1952, Black Boy Jungle, 1955, The Defiant Ones, 1958, Raisin in the Sun, 1961, Lilies of the Field, 1963, In the Heat of the Night, 1967, To Sir with Love, 1967, Shoot to Kill, 1988, and of course,
Guess who's coming to dinner?
he won the Oscar for Lilies of the Field and was twice named top male box office star in the country. My father made no films from 1977 to 1987, but worked as director and author. Dad said to me once, I still don't fully understand how all this came about and the sequence it came about.
This is a forgotten movie, and I don't think it really deserves to be forgotten. It's not a great movie, but it's a good movie, good actors, good idea, very good idea. As for remaking this movie, it's a bit of a hot potato. I think a lot of people complain that they're making white people look bad and, all this other stuff. I think that this movie will be problematic. But, done well. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
This movie comes from a very special time when you could make... I don't know what the budget for this movie was. It couldn't have been more than a few $1 million. And you could make those small budget movies and you could attract big name stars. And it could get a wide enough release to where a lot of people would see it and it would get nominated for the big awards and stuff. Those movies don't happen as much anymore. It's interesting in that this also comes from a time when the subject matter of just talking about gay people was new.